Hello, how are you? How's it going? Ooh, it's me, doing my show. That's right. Take a look. El Nino is coming. The child will kill you. Nino. El Gordo. That's me. Oh. All right, so I got to hang out in my car today. I got another ticket, and they said they're going to tow people on the 29th. So that's it. So I'm going to try to stay here and get as much rest as I can. It's pretty tough. I slept on the sidewalk a couple of times. It's pretty rough. You can only take around so much stuff. That's why when you see homeless encampments, you need outreach, okay? And that is the scam. That's the trick that they're doing. They'll throw a bunch of money into quote unquote helping the homeless, but they won't do outreach, okay? That's how you help the homeless. You have to go to them. Hey, what's up, guys? My name's GOrDIE, and I'm your homeless liaison. Lay what? You better lay back, Jack. Get the fuck out of here. Right? You go over, you talk to them, see how they're doing. It's like, all right, you guys want to get into a program today? You guys doing all right? We got great programs. I got a van right here. Get you inside. Get you some housing. Would you like that? You have to approach the person, okay? Sorry, I'm trying to look spiffy. You know me, I always start my show when I'm not supposed to. That's me. Right? You need the liaison. You need the outreach. You go to them. And that's the scam. They have all these programs and all this money's going into them. And those people, I told you, I made a video of it. I went up there twice. They turned me away. I went for a shower. It was about 1 or 2 in the afternoon. They turned me away. Oh, you got to be here at 7. Oh, really? What do you want me to do? Camp outside your fucking door? Oh, no, you're not allowed to. You see this? You got all this money here, right? That's why it's all bullshit. You know the song Money by Pink Floyd? You know I'm a classic rock guy. Yeah, I'm with the boomers, Gen Xers, and the not-so-silent generation. Take it easy, ma. Oh, boy. A new car, Caviar, 4-star, Daydream. Think if I need a football team. Look at the guys buying football teams now, right? That's what they're doing. And he, in one of the lines in the song Money by Pink Floyd, he says, I think I need a Learjet, right? So, again, we're all trying to rise. We're all trying to raise up out of our social strata. I call it strata from La Strada. There's a film called La Strada. I think it's Federico Fellini. I'm not sure. Right? I used to watch all that old stuff. I used to know all that stuff. Cinema is dead. We know that. You know, we got these people just, investing in things because it's going to be a profit. Hey, let me tell you something, investors for profit. There's only one Point Break. There's not 2 films called Point Break. There's only one. You can make it 2, Utah. Ooh, make it 2. Sorry. Right? So the scam with the homeless is there's no homeless liaisons. Right? I mean, you got all these people wanting to donate and do all this stuff. Well, you can go around. You can have, well, I don't know about like portable shower or whatever. I think that might get a little messy, right? But you can pick them up. You can take them somewhere. Hey, man, you guys are getting showers and haircuts today. You want to go? Come on, showers and haircuts, guys. We'll get you a nice backpack with some new stuff. Get your teeth brushed. This guy needs some little deodorant over here. This guy, you know what I mean? You need liaisons to do that. Not these goddamn phonies when you go up there. I take all my stuff and I go up there, and what do? They turn me away. Well, you're not here at the proper time. Sorry. Ugh. You know, how elitist. You know, that's what I'm saying. We're training our society to be sociopaths, and they are being sociopaths with this medicine. Right? A lot of them. Because I quit everything in 2006, so don't ever forget that. That's going on 20 years ago. That's why I had them sussed. That's why I don't beat myself up if I want to have a drink or something like that. I'll go have a drink. I don't care. I'm almost 60 years old. I don't give a shit. What are you going to do to me that hasn't already been done? Right? And I talk about stuff on the show. Why? Because number one, it's for entertainment purposes only. Okay? And number two, well, obviously it's for entertainment. I can't take any donations. It's not for it's not for profit because I ain't making any. Right? And you could take everything that I talked about, you can edit out everything that I said about my family. Choom, 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 choom. That's how you edit a book anyway. I wrote a book. It's called Two-Legged Animal. The link is always in the description. I don't believe we're animals. Okay? And we can challenge the academic model. And that's what people were starting to do. And they started shutting people down online. Hey, blah, 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 easy. You can't challenge the academic model because they use the academic model in conjunction with the government. You see that? And I already proved from people in my own life, my real life, how academia run with quote-unquote gang members. All right? Don't snitch, kid, because 3 people in government might lose their job. Right? Who starts these rumors? Who starts all this stuff? Who starts these trends? How do they get started? Okay? I was always fascinated with that. I'm still fascinated with a lot of things. I'm still very curious. I'm wicked alma mater. That's right. Everything I talk about on my show, even though it's from a car my mother told me to buy as a 55-year-old man. She told me what car I was going to buy, where I was going to buy it from, and there was I couldn't even question it. There was no talking to her. That was it. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to drive around with my dad, have some fun, look at cars, guy stuff. Right? And again, I'm not faulting anybody. I'm just telling you how I grew up. Take a look at the memoir that they're teaching in, I think, Yale. I think I get updates from Yale. I try to get them from Harvard. I guess I'm a Yale man. Ooh. They're teaching a book by Richard Wright, W-R-I-G-H-T, called Black Boy. Right? You would call mine Slack Boy, because I'm a slacker. That's right. I'm a slacker from the 90s. And again, when somebody brings up something and they're putting it in the pejorative, like your race, your face, your big ass, well, you know that they've run out of conversation. And you know that they're taking momentary reprieve from their existential crisis. Right? We know this because they're having an existential crisis. Why? Because we all do. None of us know why we're here. None of us have the answers. So I was taking a look. So I came up with the concept for We Are Martian right here on this show. Right? Now there's a Disney show that takes place in 200 years from now. They're on a crater on the moon. You see that? I was coming up with mine at the exact same time that they were. The exact same time. I didn't know anything about this. It's a common concept. Again, it's like somebody stealing jokes. Are you really stealing jokes? When you look at a headline, how many jokes can you really make about that headline? There's only so many jokes you can make about the headline because the headline itself is a meme and a joke. I call it media deep blue. They are untraced stories. But I don't want to get too far afield. You know how I feel about that. Your nervous system is being titillated by the AI that's assigned to you, right? And it's already been proven right in my playlist on the Grievance GOrDIE show. Take a look at it. That AI indoctrinates people, not the quote-unquote internet. Because the internet is a series of tubes, and I'm on YouTube exclusively. That's right. I ride the tube and I surf the Eggieverse. And what's the Eggieverse? It's everything. It is the everything. Boy, I'm hungry. Boy. So it's going to rain today. I got to stay in. I don't know if it's going to pour. This is how I'm living. See, I always do my little fashion show. Hello. Because I had pictures taken of myself before selfies existed. Oh, I forgot. I have narcissistic syndrome. Damn. Acute narcissistic syndrome. Because actually, he is pretty cute. You understand? Gotta be honest. Right? That's going to be a medical determination now. Now, medicine is getting so advanced, they'll just change your sex, as soon as you're born. That's, what is it called? It's called like an exploratory surgery. Not exploratory, but, right? Maybe they'll determine it by, in utero. They're like, oh, well, how many chromosomes do they have? X and Y. How many? Well, I don't know. It's cutting it pretty close. So let's do a little cutting. Oh, boy. Who knows? Who's okay with this? Who's questioning this? And why are people trying to suppress this information? That's why I'm talking about We Are Martian. That's right. Talking about another project that I'm writing. I'm writing the very last punk rock TV show ever. That's it. There's not going to be any more like it. There's not going to be any more. Don't forget, they're getting ready to do a movie about Joey Ramone. Okay? This generation's fading. The not-so-silent generation is starting to go radio silent. The boomers are getting older. Okay, boomer. Us Gen Xers, we're hanging on by a thread, oh boy. Don't destroy my sweater. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Right? So, that's what I'm writing right now. It's called Linoleum Blown Apart. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't think the actor in the band should be the film director. I think they both need to be two different people who are obsessed with this Stanley Kubrick style Well, he's the Stanley Kubrick style director, but they're obsessed, I meant to say, with Napoleon. And they both begin to develop this Napoleonic complex, which we always talk about. We talk about very simple things on this show, and that's me. Keeping it simple. Stupid. Yeah. Right? I saw a good... That's not how I talk. It's so shameful. I need to talk much better, more, professional and stuff. Sorry. So, I'm on EBT SNAP benefits. That's what I live off of. All right, I forgot what I was saying. So, let's move on. So, now, I'm studying Gnosticism, and you have the movable stars and the fixed stars. The word planet means movable stars. That's why when your Mercury's in retrograde, you might put on some retro clothes and, start dancing with Disco Stew or something like that. I don't know. Right? Weird things might happen. Okay, this is not a haka-hui. What it is the archetypes that Carl Jung talked about. A lot of people talked about these archetypes. That's where he got it from. Well, he kind of created the term, blah, blah, blah. Don't want to nitpick too much on this show. You could pick me apart. Right? But that's moreover what they're talking about. Okay, so when the movable stars, which are the what? Planets, when they stop for that day, on the moment that you're born, you adopt that archetype, right? So they say man's descent into sin. Well, what can you descend from? You're descending from the stars. You're descending from the time that the stars, the planets, the movable stars, were in a fixed position, okay? And what was in the sky during that time? I don't know. You have to look into it. There's people who do that. I'd like to do that for this project. Get really very specific, right? So they stop. You're born. Now you're born into this archetype, okay? And that's where that's where the notion, I had to make adjustments over here. Yeah. You're born into that cloak. You're born into that archetype. That archetype they talk about as a cloak, as your uniform, right? So when you put on a uniform, when you put on that, I don't know, you adopt that persona, right? That's what they say when the guys put on the construction uniform, they just automatically catcall to all the girls. Right? Turns you into a fucking two-legged animal, right? You start acting like an idiot. Or If you're a police officer, like my mother worked for the Detroit Police Department, and she put on that cloak, a lot of people would change their attitudes, right? Or they saw that cloak coming in. I know I did. Right? You see somebody in that uniform, oh, you kind of straighten up a little bit, right? I told you guys in the other episode about the guy leaving the coat for a security guard right in the garbage. I could have grabbed it, put it on, hey, checking out the ins and outs. Ooh, you know, start ripping places off, whatever. And again, if you're going to allow these corrupt police officers to target individuals and fuck with them constantly, then you're saying that you're targeting an individual and that you're trying to get them incarcerated. You're saying that the system is rigged, and that's not cool. I don't care who you are. I don't care, what kind of police officer you are. You're corrupt. That's corruption at its core. But like I said, in the future, they're going to be using your device like an ankle monitor to zap you. If you do something wrong, zzz, like an animal. We are not animals. Okay. All right. Yeah, take it easy. Ooh, it's going to be a long one. I'm talking about the episode. What you think? Boy, I got my food. I'm like a shut-in today. What are you going to do? I'm just afraid if I go out there, it's going to pour El Nino style. All right, I'll stop doing that. Oh, shit. I knew I was going to lose that lid. I hate that. Boy, I hate that. That's my... You know when they hand you that coffee cup and the lip of the coffee cup is crushed and the lid won't stay on? All right, what are we talking about? We're talking about we are Martian. So in these texts, in these Gnostic texts, and also in many texts in the Bible, there's telling you the same story over and over again. Now you have the image of the cloak hanging on the cross. What do we have hanging on the cross? What do we have hanging on the staff? The staff is similar to a cross. You have a cross, you have a staff. Scusi. All right? So there's some places there's some sects. Damn, I put an X in sect. S-E-C-T-S, that their symbol is a cloak on a cross, or there's a snake on a cross, or there is the rose on a cross, which is a perennial, right? And you have the snake because why? Some vipers are benign and some are malicious, right? Some are, right? Malevolent, right? Just like us. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Racism is fake. Criminals are created. People are talked into things all the time. And with this gang mentality, and you got people like that working in the government, yeah, you should be very afraid. I don't appreciate it. Right? You got people going around clamoring for justice. Well, what is that? What, these same people are involved in targeting and gang activity? What justice is in that? That doesn't even make any sense. But we know it. So anyone who has these like slogans, these, identity politics and stuff like that, it's a group identity. And what happens? You lower your collective IQ. Your pitchforks and torches coming at you. Okay. Well, like I said, you have the... I gotta come in. There's people out there. I'm yelling. Sorry. Right? So you have the notion of you come down during a specific archetype, right? Because, are they talking about 12 and 60? 12 is a circle. 12 can be a circle because, right, you have 360, you have the 12, and they cut it up, do a little something called geometry, okay, whatever. And so you have the 12 zodiac signs, and those zodiac signs are akin to the archetype that Carl Jung was talking about. We can't throw this old stuff out. I told you that Sigmund Freud was trying to turn philosophy, well, they're really turning mythology into a science. They turned it into psychology. Now, what do they have? They tied psychology in with pharmaceuticals. Pharmacologically. I don't get all the words right, but you know what I'm talking about. So they're creating this, they created this cottage industry like that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's progress. Like I said, I came out the other side of being blackpilled. I really don't care. I don't care who shot JR, right? That's just a TV show. And don't ever forget that old man Kennedy was a film producer. I think it was at RKO. And his son was killed, what? On film. They filmed his son getting murdered. Okay? It's pretty serious stuff when you think about it, especially when you're talking about the President of the United States. Take a look at what they have now, the plumbers, right? They got the plumbers. Oh, they're just a bunch of inept idiots. Now, it's funny to make a comedy out of it because it was. What are they saying? They're saying by the time these guys were leaving, right? They were just bumbling idiots. That's okay. They could say that. But I'm telling you right now, those gentlemen, G. Gordon Liddy and E. Howard Hunt, were implicit in the murder of JFK. There is no doubt. Okay, so that's, you can't refute that. So they were some pretty top dogs, right? And E. Howard Hunt was such a spy that they turned his character into Ethan Hunt on Mission Impossible. That's right. We're talking about the television show, the original television show, which is where Tom Cruise got it from. It's a great idea. It's great spy. Everybody loves spycraft, all that spy stuff. Spy kids. Even kids love spies. Ugh. Right? Espionage. Ooh. So basically, Woody Harrelson, his character is playing the same character as Tom Cruise. Now, do you see the difference? Don't you think Tom Cruise, the Ethan Hunt that he's portraying, is a little bit more ruthless and can get things done like that? Yeah, more than likely, right? But who do they use? The archetype of Woody Harrelson at the end of E. Howard Hunt's career to get rid of him. They make a comedy about it. That's okay. I'm not putting it down. But you can see the differences in the archetypes. And that's why I talk a lot about actors and acting. I understood this stuff intrinsically when I was a very young age. I understood these things because I was struggling with the Bible, and I was struggling with watching these films on television and knowing that they're just an actor. They're not actually, I mean, take a look at Robert De Niro. Can you see the wolves in this picture? Can you see the wolves in this picture? Sorry, I had to do that. Right? We know Robert De Niro isn't the characters that he portrays. We know that. He's just a regular Joe at home, you know, whatever he does. Oh, like Stallone, like Stallonosaurus. Boy, I watched that, his reality show now too. Boy, he's got it going on. So anyway, so we have these archetypes, and that's what you're born into. You're born into the archetype that comes from astrology. That's born out of astronomy. Right? So we can't throw this stuff away. Right? And the further and further we go along, it's starting to look like we are throwing this stuff away. It's starting to look like calling someone a narcissist is a medical determination that you could give them a bunch of medicine, shoot them up with a bunch of medicine, and the state can kidnap you and put you in a mental facility. Just for that reason. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this person posting too many selfies? Oh, well, they must have acute narcissistic syndrome. They posted way too many selfies. Well, come on in. Let's arrest them. Let's shoot them up with drugs, and then let's see what happens. Now, the reason I'm telling you this, why? Is because it happened to me. That's what happened to me when they were using this tech. This tech affects your nervous system. With every social media site, you are ascribed an AI. And this AI is basically almost having its way with you. When you really truly think about it, I called it the Cinderella effect, right? When I Googled my name, and all of a sudden, there's pictures of people being murdered and shot. This is what I'm talking about. That's what the Cinderella effect is. And you got idiots going around talking about the Mandela effect. But the fact is, they can change things that you're watching on your phone in real time if you're broken into by one of these, one of these creeps. Who needs that? And again, you want to just surf the Eggieverse. You might have a bad experience. We should actually, have a little bit more control over, I guess they're just going to keep selling you more and more VPNs, you know what I mean? Like all this crap, whatever. Hey, you won't get Cinderella affected if you get our VPN. Oh, I like the Cinderella effect. I like Cinderella. What's wrong with that? Oops. Okay. So we've already established that on Mars, all right, we're talking about We Are Martian, guys. I already told you there's the very same narrative that is in that new Disney, that there's a generation born on Mars, 200 years is their generation. What are we talking about? We're talking maybe 1,000 years, right? And they start developing their own religion on Mars. And their skulls become elongated because that's what the Greys look like. Their bodies are emaciated because they're eating paste. Everybody's drinking what now? Protein drinks, right? We saw this a little bit in 2001. That's what they were eating, those little pastes, right? They were like, we used to call them TV dinners. That's what we used to call them, right? And then also on Mars, because of the gravitational pull, it's an entire planet. You can't control everything, and that's the best part about it. There's the notion of the haunted house. Now, take a look at The Shining. What The Shining showed you was something that was very old and ancient, that it's not going into the house and meeting an apparition, right? Like, I don't know, Ghostbusters or whatever, I don't know, Ghost Hunters or whatever it is. You're going in there and you're becoming possessed. He became that character in The Shining. Do you see the difference? Right? Do you see that? He became possessed. They didn't go into a mansion and it was haunted by ghosts and they had to run from them. He became the monster. He became possessed by the monster when he went in there. And he started doing like all manner of things. He went insane. And he says, I think I was here before. And they're like, oh yeah, you've been here. You've been here the whole time. Whatever. It's like creepy, right? So that's why it was so scary, right? Because he became possessed, right? So again, when you have this ancient tradition that you fell from the stars, man's descent, man meaning what? Human. It's not gender specific. And what certain aspects of this society do is they try to pit one side against the other. You can see academia is all this girl power stuff. Now, I'm not taking anything away from girl power. Like I said, I grew up with all women. They can kick, hit, spit, and slap in harder than anybody, right? But you can see that there's this emphasis on it. And so what's going to happen? Men are going to kind of push back, right? I mean, is the result going to be that we're going to be harder, smarter, better, faster? If there's a generation of, we used to call them wusses. Are you a wuss? I don't even know what it is, right? A generation of wuss is? Generation wuss? Then what's the next generation going to be? Is that going to be the one that's tough enough to take on Eurasia? Because that's what BRIC is. Brazil, Russia, India, China. When Russia and China come together, they have the biggest landmass now on the planet. And this is the kind of thing that we're talking about. Right? Geopolitically. They have the biggest landmass. They have the more people. We're just over here with little old May. Oh, and we lost Brazil. That was below us. What's above us? Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Oh, Canada. Yeah. Right? Now we're over here. That's all we have. We got Canada and Alaska. Hey, some of you Alaskans, can you come down and give us a hand? Right? They're going to be a bigger, powerful part of this planet. And so, just like, adulting, you got to start thinking into the future. You got to start making these plans, right? So what happens on We Are Martian? What's going to happen? Guys, my show is my creative process. I'm showing you I am never out of ideas. I can go all day, every day. I have the best untapped imagination to ever troll into town. And I'm not going to allow these fake gang members to run roughshod over me. I'm not kidding. I'll die in the streets first. I don't care. Because I know that I'm right. I've been sober for 20 years. The fuck you tell me? Boy, I'll get heated too. So what's going to happen? You can't change the gravitational levels of Mars. You can control them. But eventually, you're going to succumb to it. Everyone's going to succumb to it. All right? Year after year after year after year. Generation after generation are being born on Mars. And then all of a sudden, they start developing this religion. They can see the other planets and where they're at in the solar system when people are born. And then they begin through genetics and through, but what they forget about is the gravitational pull, because it's so slight. It's so slight that they're not really recognizing it. And what's happening is their skulls are getting elongated and their brains are actually coming together. So they're not two hemispheres. They're becoming one. And they're becoming harder, smarter, better, faster than the next generation. So when it comes time for America, they're like, hey, the Americans are like, hey, how you guys doing? What's up? We're bringing over the next shipment of, we come here for some more, huh? And the Martians are like, you're here for what? We don't really need anything from you anymore. We're pretty much self-contained over here. And the Americans are like, the Earthlings, what are you saying there? Huh? We can't come in no more? No, you can't come in anymore. No, we're not going to do any trade with you. And so you see this, it's like a parent and a child. The child eventually has to grow up and has to have their, right? They have to have their independence. And for me and other people in my immediate family, we had to go out into the world. We couldn't stay in our old neighborhood. The old neighborhood was changing. There were strangers moving into the neighborhood, the way our family was a strange family moving into the neighborhood. Okay? So by the time I'm growing up, all my friends were gone. Then I moved to downtown Detroit. I start making new friends. Now all of a sudden, after 5 years, all those friends are gone. What's going on? I don't know anybody anymore, right? So it's time for me to move on. The best thing that happened to me was going to New York because I had that anonymity. And when I went back to Michigan, everybody had stayed the same. Nobody had changed. I had changed because I had went out into the world and I saw what the world really was. And I saw normal families. That's why I don't play into these cliches about, just these, stereotypes and these cliches. I never went for that. I always knew it was fake. I always knew it was false. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't take you very long to work on a few music videos where you kind of understand. It's like, yeah, you have to have investors in your project, and we work with a budget. You gotta, all the fees have to be justified. Everything you buy is something in our budget. You have to budget just like anything else. And this is why I'm telling you, my ideas, I'm going to be writing them out. I put them right here on video so everyone can see them, right? You're going to steal an idea and make millions of dollars while the guy who came up with it is going to die in his car? Yeah. We've heard stranger things than that. Sometimes right here on this show. Thank you very much for watching my show. I appreciate it more. You'll never know.